But if you're not committed, you can't become a CEO. I'm sorry. Hardworking, commitment, and also ability to deliver performance. People forget your ticket to the game is performance. It's not being nice and having, then that one gives you the license now to be nice. My own experience now. So first of all, I took over from a chap who was Nigerian. Had come in and ran the business well, and I inherited also his house. So I remember we lived together for a week because his family had moved to the UK. He was moving for a senior role, a more senior role in the UK, and so I was taking over the business. So you were going through induction, onboarding, and all that stuff, and handover. And I was living with him, and then the person who was making food for them was living with us. So, cultural shock. First day, food I find on the table, plantain. Second day, yam. Third day, I think it was, can't remember what it was, fufu or whatever. Then on the fourth day, I asked the lady, "What are you cooking tonight?" Then she said, "I don't know, yam and so on." I said, "What about chicken or meat?" Because in Ghana, or generally in West Africa, the component of starch for food is 3/4. And it's very normal. When they come to East Africa, they find it very strange. They find the servings very small because actually the proportion. So you'll find they don't focus on vegetable and protein especially. So I said, "Can you just make me chicken?" And I don't want anything else, and some vegetable. Because by the end of the week, and remember, we are eating in the canteen during the week. Yeah. Again, a lot of starch. So by the end of the week, your body is not used to that much starch.
Yep.
It's completely out of control. So food, culture, what food the West Africa, the delicacies, what are those things they serve called snails. Are delicacies in the whole of West Africa. I told them, no, this one, no. And then the other one I told them, no, is, in the wild rat family, what is it called? There's a big animal that is a delicacy in West Africa, and it's actually roasted, like the way you roast chicken and kept on the roadside.
Yes.
Yes. And the people buy. So I said, this one I'm not. When I went to Nigeria, and this was the next move after Ghana, I remember in my first town hall, I said, the two things I won't eat are snails and this thing. They told me, no. In fact, one person got up and said, "I'm so sorry, see you. This is our delicacy. You must eat." So I told them, no. So anyway, in Ghana, cultural, so Ghanaians are very welcoming, which was great.
And the market is smaller than Kenya.
Yeah, it's smaller than Kenya. But also, they say less. So you have to extract, to extract. So when my first town hall in Ghana, I said, "Look, guys, here is what you need to know about me." And I like those declarations so that people stop playing it back in the corridors. Because you know what people are talking about. When you're a senior person, you know what people are talking about. It doesn't matter however you can have your own illusions, but you know what they're talking about.
You can be in denial.
Who is this Kenyan? Why does he deserve to be here? etc. Why should we not have local and all that stuff? So I told them, look, I know what you guys are talking about here. Then I said, I didn't bring myself here. You should be telling me why we don't have a Ghanaian leading the business. Do you know they all laughed? And actually that whole thing kind of dealt with that matter. Yeah. And I said, my job here is also to create succession so that in future we'll have Ghanaians and locals being in senior roles, and including the CEO role. Yeah, and actually we did. So it's confronting the issues that you think people are speaking about. Like the dealers who say, oh yeah, this Kenyan is making some changes. Then 1 year later they say, oh yeah, Peter is fantastic. Why I have now no longer a Kenyan? You know, so when you are doing well, you're the Kenyan. You're Peter. Yeah. When you are not doing well, people will always see the ethnic, race, country, whatever. So you just learn. You just kind of say, well, you know, I will just do what is right and so on and so forth. But fantastic experience, 4 years in Ghana.
Do you have to have thick skin to be a CEO?
Yeah, have, but also learn. Because as I told you, you'll make mistakes along the way, isn't it?
Yes.
And also learn the mistakes to avoid. Yeah, like for example, the need to say no, and not to always give good news when you know bad news are around the corner. You get what I mean? So almost like be real. It's more being real. Because sometimes we want to manage, we want to kind of, sometimes you just kind of shrug your shoulders and say, yeah, this is how life is.
It is what it is.
However, your level of ownership cannot be questioned.
Wow.
Because it says, if this CEO has given us bad news, but his level of ownership of course correcting what is wrong cannot be questioned. So people kind of say, well, he'll figure it out. You get what I mean? So they won't see the emotional commitment. But if you're not committed, you can't become a CEO. I'm sorry. Hardworking commitment and also ability to deliver performance. People forget your ticket to the game is performance. It's not being nice and having, you know, then that one gives you the license now to be nice. And to offer gifts and so on. Yeah. But performance is you tell me a CEO you've seen who is under delivering and has been left in role for more than 2 years.
Ooh.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work unless they own the business. And even in that case, remember, if it's an entrepreneur, they are killing themselves to turn around that business, isn't it? So, we used to say that leadership has 3 components: judgment, drive, and influence. So judgment is how you judge what to do and the decisions you make and how you influence, how you make those decisions. Could be from your experience, could be from your intelligence, could be from your background, it could be anything. But also maybe even your style. Drive is given for a CEO. If you are not driven, I've never heard people saying, well, that CEO is so driven. Or rather, people saying, well, that CEO is not driven, so it's such a good thing. Isn't it? You know, drive is an underlying ticket.
A must, yes.
It's like a footballer in Arsenal or Liverpool who doesn't learn fast or who doesn't put the work in. There's no way. At a very senior level, or even at, say, if you look at elite athletes, the Tiger Woods, you know, the Usain Bolt, yes, all those guys. If you look at them, their work ethic, and they are so driven. So the drive. Influence, you learn. First of all, it also depends on your personality, how you influence. I'm introverted, but it doesn't change. Leadership dimension is not, you have to factor in where you come from, but it doesn't determine the strength. So introverted, extroverted doesn't matter. It is how you lead. So if you lead, influencing is about how you influence others. Because leading is about influencing people. Leading people, you lead directly, influencing stakeholders, influencing the public. You know, even when something happens, you know, someone's calls me names or puts my fake AI thing, and how I respond to it, you know, it's part, you know, how you influence. Part of it is also managed by the organization, but you set the tone for how you influence. But as an individual, those 3 elements, you have to work on them, and over time you learn You learn the elements that are important for certain roles, and which elements that you need. Like as a CEO, the influence side is so important, but you have to back yourself up with. So you have to determine across those 3 dimensions. You have to determine which elements am I very strong in, and which elements am I not, and where do I back with myself with the best talent, and actually talent that will say no or will not fit your.
Yes, man.
I employ people who may not like me, may not fit what I expect, may not, say yes. And people wonder, why is this guy? And I say, yeah, you just have to let the system work and allow people to be themselves. Because if you just employ people like you, then you'll all lead the same way. You get what I mean? Like, that's why I was given advice that your job is not to lead the function, is to lead the people, the leaders,
the people, yeah,
but also to lead the agenda, the organization. So Ghana was, I would say, training, but very good experience.
And did you do well in that?
I did very well. I actually did extremely well, and I was now going to be, because I was in what they were calling L2, I was going to be promoted what they used to call SL, senior leader within the Diageo community. So I was going to, I'd interviewed for a role to lead the Australia business.
Wow.
And I got the role, so we were going to do a look-see. When you are going with family.
The same thing.
Look-see.
Yeah.
So then 1 week before I went to look-see, I got a call from the same guy. He told me, Peter, are you seated somewhere? Because you need to be seated because of what I'm about to tell you. He told me, you're not going to Australia, you're going to Nigeria. So instead of going to look-see in Sydney, I went to look-see in Lagos. And in a way, and I didn't tell my wife that day, because it was her birthday. Pure coincidence, by pure coincidence. The following day I told her, by the way, do you know what news I received yesterday? Here is the news, which I also didn't like.
Yeah.
So we had to deal with it. So we went to Ghana, we went to Nigeria. Actually, our experience was great. And actually, our experience in Nigeria, the 3 years we spent there, was fantastic. And I spoke to a few people, and they told me, if you want great life experience, go to Australia. If you want a career and to be on the grid, go to Nigeria. And so it was fantastic. And actually, my wife really loved Nigeria. The people are great.
Now, this is a bigger market than Kenya.
Much bigger market.
Is Nigeria the biggest market for Diageo on the continent? At the
time, it was the biggest. But remember that East Africa Breweries is 3 countries. It's not just Kenya. EABL as a market is 3 countries, whilst Nigeria was a single market. South Africa was a single market, South Africa 3, and Nigeria was 1, and then the rest were together. So basically, the Nigeria market was similar in rating to the EABL role. So that's so then now. And
what year is this that you go?
I went to 2015.
So 2015 to 2018.
2018, yeah. And then, so let me give you the context when I went to Nigeria.